All right, so we begin each show with what we call a breakout. And so we take a fantasy concept, relate it to life, relate it to the Bible. And that is what we also do on our website that you can read. And so you can check that out and then discuss these topics with your league throughout the season. And so today, I want to talk about unpredictability. And we know as fantasy managers before the season, it's all about predictions. It's all about projections. It's all about guessing which players are going to be the best this year. And those are the players we draft and target. Then, all season long, every week when we're making lineup decisions, it's all about projections. And all these apps give us these ridiculous projections as well, right? That we live and die by sometimes if we're not careful. But sometimes they're right. But we decide each week, okay, I predict, or the fantasy experts predict, or the NFL experts predict this NFL matchup will look like this, which then means the fantasy players on my team will either have a great week or a challenging week. And we then, make those decisions throughout the year based on those projections and expectations. Well, through 10 weeks, we are reminded how unpredictable fantasy football truly is. And the reality is, certain NFL teams, certain individual players on those teams are performing at a level that we expected, right? Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chiefs. All right, locked and loaded. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. Yep, absolutely. But across the league, in general, there is so much unpredictability as we look at the entire whole of this point in the season through 10 weeks, but then also week in, week out. In some ways, it was predictable that the 49ers would have a great game against Jacksonville. But was it predictable that they would dominate that much? That was pretty unpredictable. That Travis Etienne wouldn't be able to get anything going. That Trevor Lawrence, did he complete a pass? I'm still waiting. I don't think he's completed one yet. And so there's just no denying that certain players will have better games than expected, and then they will have worse games than expected. It's so unpredictable. But part of it is what makes it fun, right? We like the unpredictability of fantasy because we can go into a Monday night game and not expect the Broncos to win. And then Cortland Sutton actually plays pretty well. Javonte Williams plays pretty well. And now all of a sudden your fantasy results might be different than what you expected. And so sometimes we win when we don't think that we'll win. And then other times we lose when our team is the clear favorite. And so all season long, you've probably mentioned something like this to yourself or to someone else. You say, I thought he was going to have an awesome season, but he's not doing anything. I thought his NFL team was going to be terrible. I misjudged his situation. I didn't see that coming. I never expected that. How in the world did that happen? That is shocking. I didn't plan for that. What am I supposed to do now? And so our predictions that we make week in, week out, or before the season, they tend to be wrong, right? Fairly often, because fantasy football is unpredictable. And sometimes surprising performances are good and sometimes they're bad. But either way, it's so hard to control and predict what's going to happen throughout the fantasy season. And so as we relate this to life, we know this is true in life as well. Life is unpredictable. Our circumstances and situations that happen oftentimes are surprising, and it's not what we planned for. It's not what we expected. Something happens out of the blue, good or bad, and life is unpredictable. And so we find ourselves saying the same things that we say in fantasy. I thought that was going to be an awesome situation, but surprisingly, it wasn't. I thought that was going to be terrible, but it wasn't. I misjudged the situation. I didn't see that coming. I never expected that. How in the world did that happen? That is shocking. I didn't plan for that. What am I supposed to do now? And so today, as followers of Jesus, how can we best respond to the unpredictability of life and properly deal with the reality that we can't control everything or expect for every situation to turn out according to our own plan. And so, in some ways, the first step is just accepting it and acknowledging that God is in control and that it's not unpredictable to Him. Everything's very predictable to Him. And so, we can either choose to be frustrated by the unpredictability or choose to trust that God, in the midst of this life that's unpredictable, He knows what He's doing and He's got us and that He's good, that He's faithful, and that we can cling to Him. And so we look at a few verses here in Proverbs 19:21. It says, "You can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail." And so we can plan and make projections and expect certain things to happen and all of that. But we have to understand that God's purpose, that God's will is going to prevail. And that's good. That's awesome. We celebrate that. And so it doesn't mean that we don't plan anything or but we understand the reality. And just like fantasy football, of course we've got to make projections and plans and all that. But then we just understand that, man, fantasy football is going to happen. It's unpredictable. And so we embrace it and understand it. And then again in Proverbs 16:9, it says, "We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps." And so we must surrender to Him and trust Him. And day in, day out, we know that things are going to come at us that we did not see coming. Whoa, I'm surprised by that. And so we can allow those things to derail us, or we can have peace in the midst of the unpredictability and trust God through it. And this promise is found in Romans 8:28. This is the Amplified version. "And we know with great confidence that God, who is deeply concerned about us, causes all things to work together as a plan for good, for those who love God, to those who are called according to His plan and purpose." So do we believe that? Do we live by that? That frees us up. Then we trust that, man, He's got this. He's got it. He's good. He's faithful. He's got a plan. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I didn't see this coming. I don't even know what to do from here. But God does, and I'm going to trust Him, and He's going to show me the way. And so then we go to Proverbs 3:5 and 6, where it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take." And so today, let's be encouraged that despite life being unpredictable, God is good and in control and worthy to be trusted, and that we can surrender to His plan, to His will, and that He will walk us through the unpredictability of life. And He'll confirm when we need to go, He'll confirm when we need to stay, and we trust Him in that. And I don't know what to do in this situation. He'll show us the way. He'll give us the clarity when we need it in His timing. And so, do we trust Him? Do we trust Him? Again, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take. He's the one that knows. We can try to project and expect and plan. He's the one who knows. So let's trust Him.